When I think of the theme, I sort of situate myself between what I like to say is two pillars. One is sort of a Rawlsian concept of just society, that is, society that gives most to those who have the least. And of course, we're sort of far away from that, but I put Rawls on one side, and on the other, I always think of Kluger's simple justice, that is, educational justice toward equal educational opportunity and results. And when I think about those pillars, of course I think about people like Michelle Fine's work with City Kids and doing action research. I think of Bill Tate's and his work with communities. I even think of Carol Lee's work. And she's also working with high school kids in city schools. But you know, one of the things that I would like to do is think about researchers outside of the field of education, because what I've found is that those folks are doing some very interesting stuff with what I consider justice work too. I think that we have a tendency to stay within our colleges and not even think about someone who's an urban planner and the kind of work they may do that may supplement or complement our work. Some other folks, for example, environmental justice. There is Susan Cutter and the work of Colin Fisher. What they do is they look at environmental racism, and they are also working toward justice, if you will. When we talk about all the kerfuffle around the healthcare and affordable healthcare that we've seen with President Obama's initiative, I really think of health and wellness justice. There's a researcher at Harvard, his name is Paul Farmer. He does some really interesting stuff. As I said, he's a medical anthropologist, and he talks about pathologies of power, and he talks about how social conditions such as poverty, malnutrition, inadequate housing, that leads to the spread of disease. For me, the point is that toward justice can really be contextualized in a larger community of researchers and scholars and activists, all of whom are moving towards what I consider a just world, be it one community at a time, one school at a time, one classroom, one child at a time. So what I'm hoping is, as we think about developing our programs and proposals for AERA, we'll consider that we're not alone in this struggle and that there are other folks. And in fact, if people want to push the envelope just a little bit, maybe go across campus and build coalitions with other disciplines or other community folks, again, always towards justice. Academicians, we tend to stay in our own silos, if you will, and we don't know what's going on over in the medical school, what kind of research those folks are doing. We don't know what's going on maybe over in the law school. We don't know what's going on over in architecture. Can you imagine what we might be able to do if we joined forces with maybe city planners and folks in the medical field, or I mean folks in architecture? I think the world would be open. So I would say, as people are planning their proposals, to reach out, go out of your comfort zone, scare yourself a little bit, and go and talk to some of these people and see what kind of proposals and coalitions you can devise. I think that would be marvelous stuff.